Guys, welcome to today's vlog. So today I thought it would be fun to do a little reading vlog. So I'm currently reading 2 books, well technically 3, but I have 2 physical books with me right now that I'm bringing, and I think we're gonna go to my favorite little coffee shop and we're just gonna sit down, put on my headphones, and just read for a few hours. So right now with my book club, I'm reading The Invisible Life of Addie LaRae. It's basically following a girl named Addie LaRae in 1974, I think, in France, and she makes a wish with the darkness, and it's like basically they can make prayers to gods, but the ones that answer after dark are evil. So she's really desperate. She doesn't want to get married to this guy. She wants to be free spirit. She wants to live her own life, and so she makes a wish to the god after dark, and he ends up obviously like giving her a wish, but it is not what she asked for. And so now it's New York in 2014. Like, she's lived 300 whatever years by herself. Nobody can remember her name. Nobody like recognizes her. Like, they meet her and immediately forget who she is. So she doesn't exist in this world because she asked to be free spirit. So now she's immortal and nobody can remember her until she meets a guy in a bookstore named Henry, and he remembers her. And that's where I'm at. So I'm like not that far into it. I think today I want to get like halfway. So I brought this one. And then on audio, I'm listening to Crown of Midnight's Mass. So I think I'm going to listen to that today later on. But I also brought the third one of ACOTAR. So my sister and I were buddy reading the Throne of Glass series, and she said I really need to finish ACOTAR before I get to the last book in Throne of Glass series. So I brought the third one. I want to read this and finish this series so that I can like finish Throne of Glass series, because everything is like interconnected, I think, with Sarah J Maas. So I want to be able to like understand what's going on. But yeah, so those are the 2 little books that I'm bringing. And yeah, we're just gonna go to a coffee shop, and then I think after I want to go to either Barnes and Noble or Target. And my plan for the day, I'm just gonna have a good little reading day, little reading vlog, maybe get a Christmas book, because I am going to New York in Christmas. So I really want to find like a New York themed Christmas book so I can read it before I go. So yeah, that's my plan. We're gonna go right now, and I will see you guys when we get to this cute little coffee shop. My little coffee shop excursion, and I wanted to do an update on how much I read. I was there for like honestly 2.5 hours, and I was reading both of the books. I started on page 170 of this book, and I ended on page 250. So almost 100 pages, 80 something. I'm not sure. I'm not good at math, but I read that much. So now I'm like about halfway in that one. And then I just read a little bit of this one because I was getting ready to go. I like finished my coffee and everything, and I was like, yeah, it's time to go. But I started on page, didn't read this much, 50 of this one, and I ended on page 119. So it's like 50, no, I'm so bad at math. That's like quite a bit of pages, I think. So yes, that's the progress I made in both of these books. Both of these have coffee on it. Do not judge me. But yeah, so I read like probably like 100-ish pages of each book, around there. So I feel like that's pretty good. Now we're gonna go, I think we're gonna go to Barnes. Made it. A quick little reading update for the books that I'm at right now, and just kind of talk about really fast, really quick, what's happening in the book, and then just like kind of my thoughts and stuff. So the first book that I was reading earlier at the coffee shop was The Invisible Life of Addie LaRae, and I got about, I think like halfway. I'm almost done with it, but I am reading it in a book club, so I do have to like slow it down a little bit. And so in this book there is talks about like other gods and stuff. It's not like the gods that like we like think of now. It's like old ancient gods, and you can like pray to the good gods or you can pray to the bad gods, and the bad gods come out after the sun goes down. So that's kind of what happens. And then we see that her parents are getting her to like wanting her to be married to this guy. She doesn't want to marry him. She wants her own freedom. She wants like to make the decision who she marries. but they're like, no, this is who you're marrying. So she's really desperate. In time of desperation on her wedding day, she runs out and she's like praying to the gods and doesn't realize that the sun was going down while she was praying, and she's like closing her eyes and she's like, please, I just want my freedom, I just want my freedom, please. And the dark god answered, the bad god, and I just call it the darkness. Like, the darkness answered, and it was basically like, so what you want is freedom and like to live your own life. And he basically tricked her and made her immortal, and now no one can remember her. So that's the ultimate freedom. Like, no one can remember her and she can live forever. And all of that changes when she meets a guy in the bookstore. His name is Henry, and he remembers her. So the part I just got to now, this is like their 4th time hanging out, and he still remembers her. And I just got to the part where they're talking about it, and she's like, they hung out with his friends at a dinner party, and then they left. Like, his friends went to the bathroom, they came back, and they were like, who is this girl? And he was kind of like so confused. He's like, why are you guys being like this? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, tells him that she's like, I made a deal and now I am immortal and nobody can remember me. You're the first person I've met in these 300 years that can remember me. And like, she just told him that, and his reaction was to like laugh, and she was like, oh my god, like, he literally thinks I'm crazy. And he goes, I made the same deal. Like, he said, I made a deal with the darkness too. So now we figure out that he also made a deal with the darkness, because ever since he was a child, he felt all of his emotions so intensely that he didn't know like how to deal with it, and he basically made a deal with the darkness, and now like everybody is infatuated with him and like in love with him. And it's like kind of confusing, but yeah, I just got to that part, and it's just honestly so good. The way they write, I really, really like it. And there was one quote in here that I really liked, and I wanted to read it. The page and lets her eyes travel across the printed words. These days, Addie Still's book says eagerly as food, because it's a vital piece of daily nourishment. Like, I'm really excited to see how this ends. Like, I'm very intrigued, because I feel like there's a lot of stuff that we haven't talked about, and I'm very intrigued to see like what goes on with Henry, and if he's immortal, or if it's just like what's going on with that. Okay, so the second one I have that I was reading this morning is the 3rd one of A Court ACOTAR, and this one's A Court of Wings and Ruin. I'm only on chapter 13, so I'm really, and also I got coffee on it, but I'm only on chapter 13, so nothing crazy has happened so far. It literally just picks up right where the second book ends. Finish reading some of these today. I want to get way more into this book. Morning, everybody. It's the next day, and it is so cold. I fully dressed in like winter wear today because it's freezing this morning. But anyways, we are about to go to my favorite little coffee shop. I already went there yesterday, but we are going again today. Got my sister's coffee, and I got mine. Look how cute these koozies are, you guys. But I don't care, because I have to get my reaction to the end of the book I'm reading. I'm reading The Invisible Life of Addie Relay. I'm on the last chapter, and I just have to like record my reaction because this book is so freaking good. Oh my, and it is gonna be a 5-star for me. Oh, also look at my case. Oh my gosh, I am so shook right now. That was literally so freaking good, you guys. That ending was insane. Wow. I literally just binged that book. I have the actual copy right here. And so I'm gonna go in and tab the end because that was actually insane. I don't know if you guys do this, but whenever I read something on the Kindle, I always go on my like the actual book, and I'm like, wait, I need to figure out if the ending is exactly what it was in the Kindle, even though I know it's the same. I'm always like, what, it's so good. I give it a 5. So in this vlog, we have completed 1 out of 3 books. I think that's pretty good, honestly. So hopefully I can read some more tomorrow of my other 2 books that I'm reading and get those finished. I really, really, really want to finish them before the month ends. I have like, today's November 24th, so I have a few days, and it's about to be Thanksgiving. So I have a few days to finish it. So if I get at least 1 more, I'll be really accomplished and really proud of myself. So we're gonna read tomorrow. I do have to get up really early for church. So good night. Bon voyage. This was a great book, and we're gonna get into some more reading tomorrow. Okay, it's a few days later now. Thanksgiving happened, etc, etc. It's still November. I think it's like the day, I don't know what day it is, but anyways, a few days have passed, and I wanted to give like a little reading update. I'm actually on my way to read right now, and I finished the Empire of Storms by Sarah J Maas. So I finished that one, and then I also finished The Invisible Life of Adela Ray. So I finished those 2. I finished Empire of Storms the day before yesterday, and so I just wanted to like quickly talk about it. I loved it. It was great. It was a 5. They ended it like on another like thing that needed to be a problem that needed to be solved. So I am excited to read the next book. I think there's 2 books left in that series, so I'm almost done with that series. And then I think I already talked about my thoughts on The Invisible Life of Adela Ray, but I love the way that it ended. Like, honestly, it was a happy ending in a sense, but it also wasn't, and I feel like sometimes it's necessary for a book to not always have a happy ending, and I feel like that was a book where it made sense, like the ending made sense. So that one was really, really good. I rated that, as soon as I finished it, I rated it a 5 because like I'm on a high when I finish books, so I just like put 5 on everything. But now, a few days later, thinking about it, I would probably give it a 4, just for the fact that like I wasn't absolutely like I didn't leave the book feeling like so insanely like, oh my gosh, it's like the most amazing book ever. I give it a 4 because I loved the book. I thought it was good, but there's like a few things that I like didn't really understand about it, but I really did like it, and I really, really like that author. I like the way that they say things and the way that like they word things and stuff. And so yeah, so I definitely like that author. So I'm gonna see what other books that, I think it's a girl, I think I'm gonna see what other books she has out, and definitely would be interested in reading that. But back to the books that I'm about to go to the coffee shop and read right now. Hopefully it's not busy. Hopefully everyone's with their family still. But I have 2 books in here. So I have obviously the other one. This is the one I really want to finish, you guys. Like, if I can finish this with like the next 2 days, I will be so proud of myself, because reading the other Sarah J Maas series, this one is like, I'm just like dragging, but this one is good, but I just need to finish it. But I brought another little breather book just in case I like needed a break, because sometimes when you're reading a bunch of like fighting, fantasy, whatever, I think it's good. Like, I was really glad that I was reading The Invisible Life of Adela Ray, because it was like a good breather from like all these fighting books. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get this off, honestly. I got this from this like very cute little bookstore we have here, and they put the most aggravating price stickers on it ever, but it's okay. Okay, that's pretty much all of it. There's like a big sticker stain, but so the next book that I got, that I have in my little thing, is The Storied Life of AJ Fikry. Yeah, so I have this one. I've heard a lot of good things about this one. I don't even honestly know what this is about. It's a guy, AJ, who lives alone in a bookstore, experiencing the worst sale in histories. And now his prized possession, a rare collection of Poe poems, has been stolen. But when a mysterious package appears at the bookstore, its unexpected arrival gives Fikry the chance to make his life over and see everything anew. So this is just like a really, really short one. So I feel like this is like going to be like a good one to have just like as a buffer book in case I'm like, this is too much. But yeah, I have those 2. So I'm about to go to the coffee shop and go read. So I will update you guys when I get there. and we're just gonna have a chill day and just try to relax.